What's up, guys? DB-YGO here, coming at you with a deck profile from our Edison Locals. I ended up going undefeated, taking first place with Hero Frogs, and so I figured I would just share the deck profile with you. Be sure to throw me a like, subscribe, get the bell on, all that good stuff. Share the channel. I appreciate all that support, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so starting off, we got the standard frog package, Substitoad, 3 Substitoad, 2 Swap Frog instead of 3, 2 Dupe Frog, 2 Treeborn Frogs, and a Unifrog. Shout out to Fraser Smith. Fraser Smith is a huge inspiration to me playing this deck. I love watching him play and talk about this deck on his channel. Go ahead and check out the I Am Nerd podcast. I learn a lot from listening to I Am Nerd podcast, and I appreciate the work that Fraser and his friends put into it. Inspired by his list, I've only played 2 Swap Frog. He said that 3 is bricky. You know, you don't need to draw that many of them, and I agree with him. 2 has been more than enough. Your Substitoads get to it. Your 1-for-1 gets to Substitoad. Dupe Frog can search for it if you need to. You don't really need more than 2 of them. It's a really good card, though. It also, you know, bounces your other cards back to your hand, not just itself. So if you need to recycle Monarchs or, you know, Stratos or anything like that, it also thins your deck of dead Substitoads, because after the first turn, you're not going to need all your Substitoads. So you put all your dead Substitoads in the graveyard, and they are water monsters for your Absolute Zero Miracle Fusion plays. Unifrog is incredible. Picks off back row if you have another frog in play, because it attacks directly, and they have to answer it, otherwise they're going to start losing their resources. I have found this to be a really solid number for the frog package. Only 2 dupe frogs instead of 3. You don't really need it, because you can dupe block with 2 dupes, but you can also dupe block with dupe and sub. Basically, effectively does the same thing. So, then we have our heroes: Elemental Hero Stratos, Malicious Edge, Neos Alias, Ocean, and Infernal Prodigy. Stratos is basically the Pot of Greed of Edison format. When you open it or a search card for it, it's just a simple +1. It floats. It's especially good going second if they have a face down monster. If you get your plus off of it and attack into a Ryko, it doesn't cost you anything. It's really good. I don't need to do much explaining. Most of you guys know what these things do. Malicious Edge is just a really good beat stick with piercing. It answers Monarchs and stuff like that. Alias is good against random rogue decks. It beats over a lot of things. It beats over Blackwings. It's just a good high pressure card. Ocean's a good water search for Stratos, so you can pitch it off Swap Frog to special summon Swap Frog and continue your frog plays. In a pinch, you could, if it's still in the standby phase, if it's still in the field in the standby phase, you can get a hero back. Most of the time that's not happening, but that's okay. Infernal Prodigy is probably the best card you can search for, because it's a follow-up play for next turn, because you can special summon it and then sack for a Monarch or a Malicious Edge if you have it. Also, it's good synchro fodder for the 1 tuner that you play in this deck. It's just really good. It's a really good card. If you do sack it for the Malicious Edge, you get a draw card. It's really nice. But yeah, that is the heroes. Next we have Triple Caius and Ryza for your Monarchs. 1 Ryza is good enough. Caius is one of the best cards in Edison format, hands down. Just banishes any card and deals 1,000 damage if it's a dark. A lot of times, like Blackwings is very popular, like YGO. Those are going to pay extra dividends by dealing 1,000 damage to your opponent. But yeah, also, like I said earlier, bouncing these back to your hand with Swap Frog as a cost and recycling them is incredible. Ryza can lock your opponent out of the draw phase. It's really good just to play the 1-of. Gores and Battle Fader. Just, you know, we know what these do. Battle Fader, just a 1 Battle Fader. It's good to stop a big push from the decks that do that, like YGO or Diva Hero, and then you hit them with a Caius on the crackback. And let's see here. Also, it's good if you need to set up a Substitoad dupe block. If your hand is, you know, kind of bad and you need to buy some time, you can do that. You battle Fader and then you bring out the Substitute and set up a deal block and then buy yourself some time. It's not too bad. That's probably your worst case scenario. Dandelion, we do play Future Fusion, spoiler alert. Dandelion to send off the Future Fusion for Gaia so you can get tokens, and you can convert those tokens for Substitute's effect. It's really good. Also, if the tokens are there for a turn, you can trade them for Monarchs if you need to. And then 1 copy of Junk Synchron. Junk Synchron gets back like your level 2 frogs to make a Catastor or an Android most of the time. You can use it for other synchro plays if you need to. But oh, and if you have Treeborn out, you can make like Goyo or Brian Act for 6. But you can also bounce this back to your hand with Swap Frog and keep recycling it, which is really good. That is it for the monsters. Next, we'll move on to the spells. Triple Miracle Fusion. Absolute Zero is one of the best cards in Edison format. I know I said that about Kai, so there's a lot of best cards in Edison format, but Absolute Zero is crazy. And Miracle Fusion, triple copies of it, ensures that you see it more consistently. And the Future Fusion, especially good on turn 1. Be careful not to lock your Treeborn into your graveyard with it, but Future Fusion sets up your Miracle Fusion plays. It also sets up your Dandelion Substitute plays, which is really nice if you happen to open that. Reinforcement of the Army and E-Emergency Call for the Stratos. Remember, E-Emergency Call cannot search for Malicious Edge or Infernal Prodigy, but can search for the rest of the stuff that you play. And Rhoda can search for, you know, the Neos Alias or whatever. They're there to ensure you see your Stratos. 1-for-1 for the opening Substitute play. 1-for-1 is just really good. If you open 1-for-1 Dandelion, it's broken. Both cards are limited, so that doesn't happen as often, but it's crazy when you do. Brain Control, Nuts card, you know, Brain Control is crazy in Edison. Enemy Controller, Soul Exchange. Soul Exchange is really good, not just for tributing for Monarchs, but also tributing for Substitute's effect. If your opponent sets like a monster and passes, it's probably a Ryko or a Hamster. If you play Soul Exchange and then you summon Substitute, you call priority, attribute the face down monster they have, and just go off. Enemy Controller, obviously, is just another Brain Control in this deck. That's kind of one of the advantages of playing Frogs, is you get free Enemy Controller and Tribute Fodder. Heavy in MST. Self-explanatory. It's heavy in MST. That's it. We're going to move on to the traps. There's not very many of them, but we do have the good old Mirror Force and Torrential. Trap Dust Shoot, one of the most broken cards in Edison, again. And double Regeki Break. I wanted to play the draw traps in here, the Legacy of Yadas. Not just because I own Secret Rare ones, sorry. Not trying to brag. I'm just saying. I really like Legacy of Yada. I like the draw traps. I play Jargrees in Go format, so it's kind of the same concept. They're really good in the Frog Monarch type decks because you can just get free draws out of it. You fish your opponent's MSTs and Heavy Storms away from them to get +1s. But I didn't have room. This deck is 40 cards. I was playing 2 Legacy of Yadas in here before, and then I realized I'm playing 42 cards. I need to just cut them because there's really nothing else in this deck that I would cut. Everything runs like clockwork, and I don't know if there's any changes I would really make to the deck. I really like how it runs. No Solemn Judgment. You don't play Solemn Judgment in Frog decks. That's counterintuitive. But yeah, that's it. 40 cards. Regeki Break, a little bit more in depth on that is obviously if you have any Miracle Fusion fodder in your hand that you need to get rid of, or like Treeborn Frogs or Dandelion would be really nice. It's just you have a lot of discard options for Regeki Break, and Regeki Break is so versatile. It destroys any card. It's such a crazy card. There's a reason why they got really popular in Go and Edison format. And you know, you could play Phoenix Wing, but there's a lot of cards I would not want to spin back. I would rather just destroy them flat out. And excuse me, I just bumped my camera. Sorry about that. That is it for the main deck. 40 cards, as I said. We're going to go on to the extra deck. We got the boy. Triple copies of Absolute Zero. Such a good card. 2,500. Your frogs make him bigger. He starts to go up to like 3,000, 3,500, puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. Clears your opponent's monsters non-targeting when it leaves the field. And in Edison format, it is ruled that if it goes back to the extra deck, it does still trigger. That would not work in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, he's just really good, really solid card. It's really hard for your opponent to deal with. The one guy that I mentioned, the only time you use it is if you're using Future Fusion to send Dandelion. It's really not like important. I have Miracle Fusion for it in a pinch, being like late game, to try and close out a game, because that can happen. It's very rare that that comes up, but it's there just in case you need it. Also, I'm looking for a secret rare copy, so if you got one, hit me up. Chimera Tech Force Dragon, there is Cyber Dragons in the side deck. Big surprise there. Synchros, Army Arm, Catastor, Junk Warrior, which actually is just in case you need a big beat stick to close out a game, otherwise I wouldn't play it. Android, Uriquizis, Bryanak, Goyo, Black Rose, Stardust, and Colossal Fighter. Junk Synchron is the only tuner you play in the deck, and you can go into all of these, but some of them are more, like the higher level ones, it's more rare that you'll go into them, but they're there in case you need them. The ones you'll go into the most are your 5s and your 6s. So that's it for the extra deck. Nothing to really explain. I kind of already explained the Junk Synchron, the Junk Warrior, excuse me. But everything else is pretty standard Edison stuff. Side deck, it's, you know, just kind of however you're feeling. I kind of just threw this together because I know there's other cards I would like to play in here, but I didn't take the time to like really brainstorm. I just kind of threw a side deck together for the local. And 2 Cyber Dragon, 2 DD Crow, 2 Vanity's Fiend, Dark Death Spirit. Actually, just that helped me against Blackwing player in round 2, the match that I didn't post with me in it. I didn't, you know, my other 2 friends at Locals played round 2 on camera, but I didn't. But anyway, shout out to my friend Miguel for a really good match against his Blackwing deck. Dark Death Spirit cleared a pair of Shuras, and that was really hard for him to deal with. Good thing he wasn't playing draw traps, because I would have let him draw 2 free cards. That would have sucked. That's the risk of playing Dark Death Spirit. I don't know if I'd actually play it going forward, but it's not like terrible. It's just another like Monarch-esque option. If they have a bunch of like, I don't know, I'd say it's kind of good against like I don't know, decks that put a lot of big guys up that are hard to deal with. You know, something that you would like to draw like a Lightning Vortex against, but you need a Lightning Vortex on legs. Not going to go too much further into details, just Dark Death Spirit. And I keep bumping the camera, sorry about that, guys. Soul Exchange, Soul Release. This kind of goes in hand with the DD Crows. Any decks that are heavier that I need to get rid of graveyards, like Christia Sworn or anything like that, that's when that goes in. Soul Exchange is when I go second. I side that in as an extra insurance policy for the substitute or Monarch plays. And then Dust Tornadoes are crazy, just in general. It's just a really good card. Pulling Rugs and Karma Cuts. Karma Cuts, another discard trap. It's really good against stuff like Light Sworn and Frogs and the like. So, as good as Dust Tornado is, I actually have a personal preference of playing Twister over Dust Tornado. Now, hear me out. Twister is obviously worse. It only destroys face-ups and costs you 500 life points, but it is a quick play spell, which if you're playing against stuff like Skill Drain or Royal Oppression or even Ultimate Offering randomly, like if you're playing against Machine of Gadgets, which doesn't come up that often, but like some of those continuous traps are hard to deal with, and sometimes you can't afford to wait an extra turn for the Dust Tornado if you're the one like behind on initiative. So I prefer Twister over these. I just didn't switch them out. A friend of mine borrowed my other deck that had the Twisters in the side deck, and I didn't take the time to switch them out because I kind of rushed from work to go to this local so I could play. Shout out to my friend Owen. He's actually the one who played in round 2 on camera with Vayu Turbo. That's the other deck that I have built. And yeah, so I really like Twister, and I recommend giving it a try. You may not like it. I think Dust Tornadoes is arguably better if you're going first, but if you're going second, Twister's really good. I really like Twister. It's been really good in testing, in my opinion. So like that might be a consideration for me to swap out. It doesn't matter to me. I'll play Dust Tornado if I want. I don't really care. I just like to play Edison. It's just fun. So anyway, let me put this away, and that is it for the deck profile. Actually, well, it is, but I'm also going to show you these tokens. Shout out to my friend Matt Asadi, one of my Omaha buddies. I live in Lincoln, he lives in Omaha, and he used to play a lot more a long time ago, but he still stays involved, and he makes stuff like this. He has some card game accessories to play. Shout outs to Matt, dude. He makes some really good stuff. This Emissary of Darkness token is so hot. It's got gores in the background. I love it. He made these Rush Duel style tokens for me. I requested the Rush Duel format specifically because I really like the way they look on tokens. And then fluff tokens, yeah, and they're foil, yeah, they're holographic, you know. I think they look really clean. I really like them. I have a bunch of modern format tokens that he made for me, like adventure tokens and Nibiru tokens for in this style. He's gonna make me some Ojama tokens that I'm gonna pick up from him next week. And yeah, I just wanted to show these off and shout out my boy Matt. He's awesome, dude. Check him out. And if he has a website, I actually don't know if he has a website. This is just he's a friend of mine on Facebook, and I message him personally, so I don't know if he has a website, but if he does, I'm gonna link it in the description, and so you guys can check out the goodies that he makes, because they're really good. I like them, and I will keep spending my money on that, man. He's awesome. He's a good dude. Very nice too. And he also, if something happens, he'll make it right. Like we had an Emissary of Darkness token debacle. I bought 3 of them from him, and one of them got damaged in transit, and we caught it when we were making the transaction, and he is making me a new one and giving it to me and a little extra to make up for it. So even though I didn't ask him to, he's just a good dude, and you know, he wants to do right. And yeah, I appreciate Matt and his work. So anyway, check him out, and that is it for this video. I appreciate you sticking with me. Yeah, sorry I rambled on a little extra, but I wanted to shout out my boy. Like, subscribe, get the bell on, all that good stuff. Share the video, share the channel. I want to get to 500 subs. I want to start doing giveaways again. I haven't done that in a while. I haven't done videos in a while, except for like this week. But I want to start doing giveaways again, and I want to get to 500 subs. And I don't know what I'm giving away yet, so bear with me. But we're only like 29 away, so we're not that far. So yeah, appreciate you guys' love and support, and we will see you next time.